Well, hello, my fabulous friends. I hope you're doing well. A little something fun. Let's ask about the Loch Ness Monster. Of course, it's not fun, but I mean that the Loch Ness Monster has been around, well, my whole life. My whole life. So, in case you don't know what the Loch Ness Monster is, there is a lake in Scotland called Ness, and that's why Loch is it Gaelic or Scottish word for lake? So Loch Ness Monster. And the monster looks like an old dinosaur. Has a very long neck. So it looks like a brontosaurus with a really long neck, but yet it swims in this lake. And there's some really shadowy pictures of the Loch Ness Monster. And it's one of the first mysteries I remember reading about as a young girl. There was Bigfoot, Loch Ness Monster, Bermuda Triangle, Atlantis. Those seem to be the old standbys way back when, and they still are today. The Loch Ness Monster has not been cured, and I lived in an area of Canada where we had what was called Ogopogo, and same thing. It's a very, very big lake, Lake Okanagan, and even the natives had a mythology about Ogopogo, which looked like a giant, huge snake, again with a long neck that came out of the water. But no one ever found any real evidence. There's lots of YouTubes out there. And scientists say, no, that's rogue waves, and yet there was nothing around to create that wave. And at one point, that lake was so deep, we didn't have proper instruments to find out how deep it is. And it turns out it's well over 700 feet deep. So it's quite deep lake. So let's get back to Loch Ness Monster. I was just trying to show you that there isn't only one sea creature that lives in a big lake. There's around the world. There's stories about about a big sea creature living in a lake that is just stories passed down that nobody can seem to get a lock in on the photo. So let's see, Loch Ness Monster. Oh, that was pretty definite. Oh, isn't that funny? I brought up there's two of them. There's two of them. Five of Wands, the Magician in reverse. They aren't what they seem. Seven of Swords in reverse, Temperance in reverse. They aren't what they seem. They aren't what they seem. Some of it could be trickery. Some of it actually could be trickery. Could be just action in the water. Because this Temperance in reverse is the devil. Hierophant. Now, this could be the teachings of the elders of the tribes, for example. Interesting 5 and 5, and 5 is a changeable number. So maybe the mythology, the stories have changed over the years. Maybe it started out as a big snake and now it's a big dinosaur. Ace of Wands in reverse. Oh, somebody's not going to be upset or someone's going to be upset with me. There's no such thing as the Loch Ness Monster. Interesting because Temperance is 2 cups and this is 2 as well. So I think the cards, because I was talking about the Ogopogo, which is very similar to Loch Ness, I think the cards are telling me neither of them actually exist. They are stories that are just passed down. I think they were a trick of the eye. It's wishful thinking that they're real with the 9 of Cups in reverse. 7 of Pentacles and the 3 of Pentacles in reverse. I think right at this point, it's a money-making venture. For example, travel to Loch Ness to go try and find Loch Ness Monster. I know in BC, like there's different things with Ogopogo and whatnot. I think at this point it's a kind of an unsuccessful kind of money venture. I think a couple of people maybe have tried to go find, put money in and bought a boat, bought a sonar detector, and and paid divers and whatnot, because they're like, if I'm the first one to find Loch Ness monster, I'm going to make a lot of money. And so far, that's all it is at this point. Ace of Cups upright. You know what? I think people want to believe. I think people want to believe. Didn't they say that on X Files? People want to believe. At this point, it's a fun fairy tale. Um, Interesting. This Ace of Wands is in reverse and goes right into the cup and then kind of blows it up. I'm wondering if it has something to do with lightning hitting the water, right? Ace of Wands with the Ace of Cups, and it's almost like, and the Magician, look at all this lightning. And somehow, it would be interesting to see if anybody's done a study how many are spotted after a big lightning storm. Maybe the lightning hits the water and riles it up, and then the water makes interesting formations somehow because it's been electrified or something like that. But at this point, it's just a money making venture. A Nine of Pentacles. There's nothing there, guys. Nobody will ever be successful finding it. And actually, they're going to spend a lot of money trying to look for it, and they won't be successful at all. Two of Wands in reverse. No. The Empress. I think this is interesting. That's pregnant with possibilities. So I think what they try and do is create, this lake is so deep, of course it could hold an ancient dinosaur. But you think about it, like if this dinosaur has been around for 10,000 years, how can it be 10,000 years old? And nobody's ever seen a baby or a mate, or like sometimes we have to use some of our discernment. And I think that they just like to keep these myths going, like pregnant with possibilities, meaning like, well, for sure, look how big this lake is. Anything could be hiding in this lake. And every now and then, with the Page of Cups here in reverse, every now and then they pull out like some kind of creature who is like a great big sturgeon fish or something, going, see, look how big this fish, if this fish can live in this lake. And it's just like a freak of nature. This one fish grew so big. But there's no secrets here. There's no secrets here. Interesting, Empress and the Queen of Pentacles, which are they're both manifestors. So I think a lot of things are, people manifest them. Again, like when you see those videos of, of something on Lake Okanagan, and they say, oh, these waves came out of nowhere, or is this the Ogopogo? And, scientists are saying, no, those are just rogue waves for whatever reason. And I think people make things up in their mind with that what they've seen. Especially with the Queen of Pentacles, they manifest things, and that they want to believe that it's real. They want to believe it's real, but it's not. It's not. It's not even a secret. There's nothing there. There's nothing there. And I'm sorry to report that. That would have been fun. 10 of Swords up. Look at that. That's even on a lake. No, you're just going to ruin yourself if you go look for it. Knight of Swords. I'll probably be attacked because of what I'm saying on this 10 of Swords. I think people get attacked for the truth here. Interesting. 10, Knight, and Ace of Swords. And then the 10 of Wands, the burden, the Tower in reverse. So I think the thing here is that people who perpetuate this story do so at their own demise. They do so at their own demise. And the people who present the truth about the matter carry a big burden. Yeah, sorry guys, there's no Loch Ness monster, there's no Ogopogo. It's something that we create in our minds. We wish that there was something there, and we may, almost try and create that something is there. But you have to remember these cards are before the birth, so nothing is actually birthed from that. And people who say the truth fear being attacked, and knowing it's a big burden. It's at this point it's a big money suck. That you spend all that money on sonar and divers and film, videographers, and thinking that if you're the one who finds it, you're going to be an instant millionaire, and absolutely not. Absolutely not. You do that to your own demise. So that was a fun one. That was a fun one. Some of these can be pretty heavy, and I like kind of like doing these ones. And this one was very clear about debunking it. And some of those forms just are waves. Maybe they're created by storms, and the storm is way, way deep, deep, deep in the lake, and eventually, moves up after a while. But I think that would be a really interesting study. How many sightings are after bad storms, um, and see even up to a day after the bad storm, and see if that reinvigorates some of the tall tales. All right. Well, thank you very much for watching. I sure appreciate you. If you appreciated this, please give it a like. This little channel is kind of struggling to grow, and I'd really like to grow it because I think this is a lot of fun. So be sure to subscribe, like, share, do all the fun things, and take good care, and we'll see you online. Bye for now.